and welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker here with a nice black tea from China. I'm going to get started here. It's from a company called Teavivre, and you see that it's got multiple layers of packaging. The inside, of course, is sealed. The outside, of course, is sealed as well, but the inside is sealed in particular to lock in freshness. So I'm going to use my fingers and pinch out enough. And then actually it's maybe a little easier to get it with my spoon. So I'm going to just kind of rake in enough of into my gaiwan here to cover that bottom inch to inch and a half diameter of the base there. Just going to set that aside for now. Let me add my water. It's been brought to a boil, well, a low boil, started to rumble, not a full rolling boil. And then it's been cooling for a few minutes, so it's still got plenty of heat to it, lots of steam rising off still. But that looks good. Let me get this out of the way. Cover it. A little bit of water should sit, yes, just along the outer edge there, which is nice. Let that sit for a moment and talk about this tea. This is, like I said, from Teavivre, which is a company based actually in China. A couple of things you may want to note about this particular. This is their YunnanDianHong Golden Tip. Dianhong being a kind of a old, ancient, traditional name for the Yunnan region, the Yunnan province region. Other things that you can note about this tea. One of the things, a great practice that you're seeing more and more of, and I'm glad to see that Teavivre is a kind of a leader in the area. Production date stamped on the back of the package. The actual production date here is May 16, 2011. So you know how fresh this tea is. Other information, this tea you can get 50 grams on the Teavivre website, teavivre.com, for 50 grams for $6.90. This is actually from Fengqing County area in Yunnan province, and they even go so far as to tell you the processor, the Sanning tea company, tea industry, is the processor there, and you can actually see that here on the inner package, the foil package here, so that there's some consistency there. There's a level of knowing where they source. There's a level of comfort, a level of familiarity, knowing how this tea got to be in front of us here. What else do I want to mention? That's enough for now, I believe. The Sanning tea industry, I could also mention a little bit of a higher elevation. Some of their gardens, some of their areas are as high as 1,800 meters above sea level. So the altitude can have an effect on how the tea plants, what kind of stresses they're under. Stresses being the aspect that actually develops character. Just like with people, stress situations can create character. Similar situation with tea, in that stresses cause the tea plants to release certain chemicals, which are often products. Those chemicals are products that we look for as far as flavor components, aroma, and other. So, having said that, I'm going to go ahead and talk about this tea from the dry leaf, the wet leaf, and the liquor. Starting off here with the dry. I'm going to give it a smell and talk about it. One of the things that I note or I look for with a YunnanDianHong, this is again a type of black tea, or in Chinese it would be classified as a red tea, is a malty smell, and that's one of the things coming off here. It does have a sweet yet malty character. A light, underneath that maltiness, you might associate it with a little bit of a cocoa powder type smell, so that's there too. I do detect some of that. Let me get out a little bit of this, kind of look at it. A lot of your Dianhongs are tippy. Let me make sure I can get in here easily. They are fuzzy and they are often golden. Percentage-wise, I often see some strong percentages of golden tips in Dianhongs in general. Some of them can be almost completely darker, bistre, grayish brown type colors. This one is on the other end of the spectrum. A lot of golden tips. A lot. Again, these are larger. In a lot of cases, an inch plus or minus, a quarter of an inch. So a lot of them are around an inch or so in length. I do see a lot of golden character there. Golden being, I would say at least 40%, maybe perhaps closer to 50. You see a lot of fuzzy hairs, the fibers, the filaments there on those young leaves, those young buds or tips, I should say. What else? Yeah, that's good. A lot of these are wrapped or twisted along the length of the leaf, so that you get these kind of longer pieces, not rolled or balled necessarily, just kind of curled a little bit. So that really takes care of our dry leaf. As far as those components, I do want to go ahead and get into the pouring aspect. So let me go ahead and get my my lid tilted over to the side. Gives me a pouring area. When it's done right, you get very few leaves that slip through as well, so you can get the liquor while holding back the leaves. Ready. Those leaves are then ready there for subsequent steepings. Let's go ahead and give this one a smell. Still some malty characteristics coming out, so that's positive. On the back, I got just a hint of something kind of damp straw type of smell. Again, that was ever so brief, and it was towards the last. It was quite just a flicker of that aroma. Mostly what you're getting, like I said, is a maltiness, a sweetness there. The maltiness is the primary layer. Underneath that, there may be some of a kind of a wheat, again, a wheat bran, a bran flake rather type of sweet malty grain. Again, some of that maltiness coming out, a little bit of bran flake kind of smell coming out. And then again, some sweetness you may associate. I detect something that's with that malty sweetness, still some kind of brown sugar type notes there as well. So looking at the leaves themselves, they've become more of a rust red type color now. Let me pull some of these apart so that you get leaves that are intact from tip to stem, long, slender. You can still actually make out some of the fuzzy hairs there as well on the leaf, the natural elements of the leaf there. Let me pull out. A lot of these are fairly consistent in size and shape. I don't see a lot of other, say, stem pieces, components that may not be the components that are not sought after. So overall, nice, consistent. I'm not getting a lot of broken leaves, portions of leaves. These are, for the most, largely intact, full leaves. Actually, and you still can get leaf pairs. So I'm going to put that one there as well, just because I just noticed that one. So positive signs coming off of the wet leaf there. Let's go ahead and talk about this liquor. Let me kind of swirl that around, get the steam off the sides there, and you see a fairly molasses, slightly yellowish brown type color. So it's still deep, rich. It's not that transparent. So it does look rich, thick. Let's go ahead and give it a pour as well. Something is coming off just a little bit of baked or dried plum type of smell coming off. there. Let's go ahead and I'm going to give it a taste. Looking down, again, not dull, got a good brightness to it. Maltiness still present. That stays a key component here. Fairly good smoothness. It's not stringent. It's got a little bit of the aftertaste. How can I describe it? The aftertaste is close to taking a tablespoon of honey and chasing it with whiskey. In that you have something of a residual coating there from the honey that slipped down your throat, and yet you've got the dryness there that comes after sipping on a little bit of a stronger alcohol type element there. So there's a little bit of a conflict there with the two. Part of my mouth wants to kind of react to this drying component and causing my mouth to water. Yet there's this coating there that seems to be almost preventing the moisture from really welling up. Overall, though, nice positive elements in the aroma and the taste. There is still that bran flake kind of toasty aspect there. There's still a malty component there too. As it cools a little bit and you splash it around your mouth, I'm picking up a little bit of kind of a dried plum type of very gentle fruitiness there too. Aftertaste, still some of that sweetness trying to build up there. It does build up to a certain degree, not the most potent. Yet it's fairly sustained. I'm still getting that kind of taste in my mouth. It's having taken that last scoop of Raisin Bran cereal and slurped down just the last few drops of milk in your bowl. So it's still got a lot of that raisiny bran flake taste in the milk that's been infused into the milk. So you get that kind of aftertaste similar to that. And when I look at this tea, and I have to mention about off-camera tastings and current tastings, you have to be careful about a lot of your Dian type teas in that the way it sits on your stomach. Not everybody's stomach is going to be the same, but a common component that many people remark on is the way that the tea creates this kind of, not necessarily sour, but it makes your stomach feel empty. It causes this kind of, almost a grumbling, a kind of churning, like there's nothing sitting on your stomach. I heard that described as an acidic component, that there's something off in the chi of the tea. And I would have to, and I'd be negligent if I didn't mention that there is some of that component. There's something that makes again, off-camera tastings, previous tastings, that makes my stomach feel a little grumbly, a little like it's not full. So overall, I would give this tea, it's still got fairly decent components, competitive with other teas that I've looked at, so I would give it an 89. Come back to Walker Tea Review to find those teas that again compete with the others, that offer the things that you're looking for and more.